How are you doing today? Thank you so much for checking out this tutorial. I'm glad you are here. It means a lot to me that you decided to check out this video. Thank you so much once again. So today we'll be learning how to draft a full-scale bodice block. That means all the way from our shoulder to our top length, using the bust dart technique, also known as the Helen Armstrong pattern method. So without further ado, let's dive right in. There are some basic measurements that we need, such as our back measurements, the bust circumference, waist circumference, we need our blouse length, the hip circumference, and also our half length, which is also known as the waistline. And for this method, you basically have two half lengths, the front half length and the back half length. For me, my front half length is 17. You can locate your front half length by going up by 2 inches or 2.5 inches from your navel. And the front half length is longer because of the bust, the boobs that we have at the front, as we don't have this at the back. So please note that if you need me to drop a tutorial on how to take accurate body measurements, please do let me know, and I'll do well to drop a detailed tutorial on that. So let's dive right in. So go ahead and locate the largest circumference you have. For me, it is my hip. For some, it might be the bust or even the waist. So for me, it is my hip. My hip is 40. So I'm not using any borderline here. I'll go ahead and divide that into 2. Right now we are marking the workspace. So go ahead and divide it into 2 and add 1 inch. That 1 inch, we'll be using it for every other ease and allowance that we need to be taking it from the 1 inch. So that gives me 40 divided by 2 gives me 20. Adding 1 into it gives me 21 inches. So go ahead and rule it out with your ruler to make it a straight line. So just after that, go ahead and divide your workspace into 2, because we are drafting both front and back. Divide it into 2 like I'm doing right now, so that we can locate our center front and our center back. Make sure you mark it multiple times so you can have a straight line. So this side is my center front and this other side is my center back. It promises to be detailed, so let's go ahead and take our vertical measurement. The first vertical measurement I'm marking is my bust point, which is there from my shoulder to my nipple. That's what we call the bust point. Mine is 9.5. I'll go ahead and mark my front half length, which is also my waistline, which is 17 for me, and I'll go ahead to also mark my top length rather, which is also the blouse length, and for me it is 25 inches. That is where my blouse will stop. Don't worry, I know you're already asking, what about the armhole? Don't worry, there is a standard formula we'll be using to derive our armhole. So go ahead and mark it on straight lines, and please don't forget to label. The first one is the bust point, the half length, which is also the waistline, and the blouse length. Okay, so now, like I said, there is a standard formula for getting our armhole, which is also our chest line. That's by dividing your bust by 6 and adding 1.5 to it. My bust is 35. Dividing that by 6 gives me 5.8. So plus 1.5 gives me 7.3333. But I usually use 7.5 so that I will have a little bit of ease at the armhole. So add 1 more inch to that. That gives me 8.5 for me. Please don't be confused. Just follow this tutorial. Pause when necessary. So from our shoulder line, come down by that 8.5 or by what you get for your own. For some people, the difference between the chest line and the bust line might be 0.5. Even I've worked with a client that is 4 inches because she is on the bigger side. She has big boobs. So don't worry, just mark it out. And even a recent bride that I worked with is just 0.5 inch difference. So now that we've done that, let's work with our back. Let's work on our back. For my back is 16, that is from one shoulder tip to the second shoulder tips is 16 for me. So divide that into 2 because we are working with just a quarter. I hope you get it. So mark that on a straight line until it gets to your chest line. For most females, it ranges from 14 to 18 and sometimes even 20. So now this is our chest line, our armhole line rather, sorry about that. So let's work on our neckline. You divide your bust by 12 to give you your chest line. Mine is 2.8, but as somebody that likes ease, I use the basic one, which is 3 by 3. So go ahead and mark it in a square so that you can get a perfect circle, and you can derive a whole lot of shape that you want just by placing your ruler in different directions, so anyone that you want. So now let us work on our armhole line. First of all, we added 1 inch to get our chest line. We are eliminating that here now by using that as our shoulder slope or shoulder slant. Then we can work on our armhole. So for my armhole, during the calculation we got 7.3. I decided to use 7.5 for me. So you can see we have the accurate 7.5 now. So we divided that into 2 to get our mid armhole. Whatever your own calculation is, also divide it into 2 to locate your mid armhole. And from there, from the mid armhole that I've located, we'll be coming in by 0.75 for the front. It is slightly different for the back because the front is deeper while the back is shallower. So now that we have worked here, let's stop here and move to our bust, our chest line. So on our chest line, we'll be imputing our bust circumference divided by 4. Like I said, we are working on a quarter. Okay, so for me now, my bust is 35. Divided that into 4 gives me 8.75, but I used 9, I added 0.25 for ease. So to draw out our armhole, we'll be connecting these 3 points together. So now you can use your French curve, or if you have an armhole curve for even more accuracy. But this is what I have right here, so I'll be making use of this. So make sure that it touches the tip and the mid armhole and your bust to get a good and well drawn armhole. So voila, this is our perfect armhole. So now let's go ahead and impute our other horizontal measurements. I'm imputing my waist circumference divided by 4 on my waistline now, and I'm adding 1.5 inches for that. You can use 1 inch if the difference between your bust and your waist is not much. For me, the difference is 8. It is greater than 5, so I use 1.5. We all know that is for shaping, is for contouring. So to have a tightened waistline, so I use 1.5 for me, and you can use 2 inches for people with bigger difference. So on our top length, that is where I'm imputing my hip line. So my hip is 40, divided that into 4 gives me 10. So we'll be connecting these 3 points together now. So you can use your straight ruler here, although I know that our body is curved, but this side I don't want excess. Since I already added 0.25 ease, using a curve ruler gives it a little bit of ease. But for my waist to my hip, I normally use the curvy part, slightly curved, because our body is curved. Like I said, we don't have any straight part on our body. So now this is how the front pattern is looking. So now let's impute our dart. To locate your dart legs, it is by measuring your nipple to nipple and dividing that into 2. My nipple to nipple is 8, so I'm dividing that into 2, that's 4. I'm marking that on a straight line now, so that is my dart line. Please go ahead and extend this line to your top length, but you can go up by 2 inches or 2.5 inches from your top length, because we don't want our dart to reach our top. By the time we are done sewing it, it will look somehow, I get, if it gets to our very top length. So go ahead, go up by 2 inches or 2.5 inches for that is where the dart will stop. So now let's mark our dart legs. I added 1.5 inches, right? Dividing that into 2 gives me 3/4. That's 0.75 inches. So there's something called the designer's dart. If you are connecting your dart to your very bust line, like I'm doing right here, that is a designer's dart. That is, maybe you'll be converting it into princess line or even corset or anything later. You need it to reach your bust point before you can convert the dart into star lines. But if you are sewing it, that is what is called dressmaker's dart. Like for what I'm doing now, you come down by 1 inch from your bust point and mark it. So if you are sewing it, that is where it will stop, because you don't want your dart to get to the very tip to your nipple. You can even come down by 2 inches sometimes. So you can extend the dart to the down part, to the hip length, like I'm doing now, to the top length rather. Now let's work on the difference that we have in our half length. My front half length is 17, but the back is 1.5, and the difference is the back is 15.5 rather. So the difference is 1.5. So that is why we introduce this side that's called bust dart. So the difference in our half length is what we take out on our bust dart. So now, because by the time I sew this, I don't want that the side front to be too sharp. I'm going to eliminate that by going up by ½ inch and making it into a curve. I hope you can see it into a slight curve. I'm just giving it shaping there. So now I'll be cutting that out later. We have come to the end of our front basic bodice. I hope you like what you are seeing and you're enjoying it so far. So let's go to the back. I noticed that some of the clip for the back, so let's direct in. So this side is our center back, where we'll be drafting from here to the other side now. So I've gone ahead to mark my vertical measurements. Since I've already gotten my chest line from the front, I marked it at 8.5, my bust point at 9.5. This difference now is the waistline, the half length. For the back is 15.5, unlike the front that is 17. So the top length has changed. My top length for the back is 23.5. So I'm remarking that on a straight line. I hope you don't get confused. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. I will do well to answer. So we are drafted from this side to this side. So this is our center back now. That is where our zipper will be. So I'm marking my back. My back is 8 inches. That's 16 divided by 2. And I'm marking that to form a straight line to get my armhole. So mark yours in a straight line like I'm also doing. So okay, so now let's get our neckline. For the width, we are using 3 inches because we want it to be equal with the front. It's 3 inches, but the standard depth for the back neckline is 1.5, or you can use 2 inches. So you can place your ruler and draw it out anyhow you want. I prefer mine this way most of the time actually, but you can use it depends on the ruler that you are using as well. So now let's also take out that 1 inch the same way we did with the front, that our shoulder slope, our shoulder slant. So take it out this way on a straight line, Oh, good. And now let's work with our armhole. For the armhole, like we did for the front, locate the midpoint. It is 3.75 for me, and go in by 0.5. Unlike the front that we went in by 0.75, the back is shallower. So after we have done this, let's go to the waistline. So on the waistline, there is something called the sway back effect. This is to remove any bulge that we might have. So I'll be taking out 0.75 because normally our back is deep. It is not just straight, it is deep. So I'll be going in by 0.75 from the waistline and connect it to my neckline. So this now and connect it also to the hip line. I hope you are not confused. So this now becomes my new center bag. This line now becomes, because our back is deep, it will remove all the zipper bulge that we have. So you can use 0.52, and if you are a plus size, you can use 1 inch. Yes, I use 1 inch for my plus size clients. So after you have done this, we'll be cutting that out later, or we'll be adding our zipper allowance there later. So from this our new line, that is where we'll be taking our bust circumference divided by 4. Don't worry, it will match with the front, I can assure you. So this new waist, so from this our new waist, let's connect our armhole like we did for the front. So we are connecting the 3 points, our bust line, the mid armhole, and our shoulder tip. So go ahead and connect it to have a perfect armhole like this. So now let's work on our waistline. Because of this way back effect, it's a form of tightening. I'm only going to add 1 inch for that. I don't need 1.5 inch for the back, since I've already taken a little bit out there. So after doing this, connect to your bust line like this, and let's work on our top length. So from there, input your hip line divided by 4. Mine is 10 like we noted earlier, and I'll connect it with a slight curve like we did with the front. So connect this with a slight curve, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. I will do well to answer. So now let's impute our darts, the 1 inch darts allowance that we added. So because this our back is no longer straight, I'm first of all gonna use to mark my darts, which is the nipple to nipple, which is 4. But to have a straight line, let's measure from that straight line that we have first. So it is 4.75 there, just for us to have a straight line. If I go ahead to measure 4, it will not be straight. It will not be straight. Just for us to have a straight line, that is why we are doing it this way. So like we did with the front, go up by 2 inches or 2.5 inches. So that is where our darts will stop. So connect this on a straight line. You can see that it is straight because we used 4.5 to locate it. Use 4.5 to locate it, and impute our dart legs of 0.5 inch. You don't need 1.5 inch for the back tightening actually, especially if you have done this sway back effect. Okay, I hope you are enjoying it so far. We are almost done. Thank you so much for staying tuned till now. So like we did for the back, for the front rather, let's go up by 1 inch and connect it so that there will not be any sharp edge there. Okay, so let's not forget to label. I noticed that I didn't label my pattern, so let's label, because we are pattern drafters. We can need our patterns later. So that's my back bodice, then my chest line, my bust point, then the waist, which is also the half length, and then our top length. So now to get your zipper allowance, just add 1 inch or whatever you use for your zipper allowance all around. Just follow the curve like I'm doing and label it as your zipper allowance. So thank you so much for staying tuned until now. So if you have questions, please do let me know in the comment section. Thank you.